Hi, thanks for joining us for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. I'm Chris Cooper. Over time, the soil in raised beds settles. Today, we're refilling the butterfly garden. Also, we're planting strawberries in a raised bed. That's just ahead on the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South.
Production funding for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to the Family Plot. I'm Chris Cooper. Joining me today is Joellen Dimond. Joellen is a horticulturist, and Tom Mashour will be joining me later. Joellen.
Yes.
Good to have you back.
Good to be here.
All right, so what are we going to do today?
Oh, the butterfly garden that we started several years ago.
Several, yeah.
Has really settled. And you know, we've had annuals in and out of it, and it's time to raise the soil level back in the bed.
Okay.
So in order to do that, we're going to have to take out the few plants that are left in here.
Okay.
And then add soil up to the top that we want it, and then we'll have to plant everything back.
Wow, so we got to take it out.
Take it out.
Okay.
So we can save it.
Save it.
Because we can put it back.
Put more soil in there.
And of course, this aster has grown a little bit too wild, so we're gonna reduce this and have plenty for people to share with others.
You're gonna share, okay.
Yeah.
All right. How do you think the bed performed, though? You know,
It's
since we've
been
done this
doing
a while ago.
all of these plants that are in here are original to the bed. So it's done its purpose. Perennials have come and they've come back every year faithfully.
Right.
And been good for butterflies and other pollinators in the area. So it's done good.
So we just have
to redo it because I mean we're losing soil and we need soil for the plants to do better. So it's time to redo and raise them back up again.
All right, well, let's do it.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I think the first thing we need to do is get this irrigation out of here.
Okay. Yeah, that should be it.
Well, I'm going to start digging up the parsley and the butterfly flower, butterfly weed, if you'll start digging up the aster.
You want me to tackle the aster?
I'm going to dig up some of these parsleys and try to get as much root system with them as I possibly can, because we've got plenty of soil to fill in, but this ground is hard. That's another good reason to get in there. Okay, now we need to get out the sedum and the oregano, and then the bed will be cleared for us to add more soil. We're just gonna set them aside.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You see how hard this is gonna be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're kind of taking that at the edge and digging down and lifting up as we go around and until it finally lifts out of the ground. You just have to take your time.
Oh. I get it. I get it.
Got it?
Got it.
Ooh, very good.
Yeah. Now my mom's gonna put me to work.
This may come out in parts because it has.
Yeah, it will.
It has spread so much.
So I get this part.
So we're just gonna have to take it out in parts.
Look at that. You ready? Yeah.
There we go.
I got it.
I don't think it. Oh. Hey, it's in one piece. I'm really surprised. All right. Now, we've got all the plants out of the bed. We're ready to put the material back in. And first we're going to start, since we took so much effort and so much time to get this aster out because it had multiplied so much, we're going to try to contain it in a container in the bed. And so we're going to dig a hole starting about right here.
Okay.
We're going to bury this container in the ground and plant the aster inside of it in hopes of containing the aster. Because the aster is really pretty. It blooms at the time when nothing else is blooming, and it's really good for butterflies and pollinators at the end of the season.
Look
I
at,
say that's good.
look at there. Look at there.
Because we still need to add soil
Yeah.
to the bed, so
Yeah.
it will work well. Now it's time to add the soil
There
to
you go.
level it off and make it higher. Well, it looks like we've just about got it all filled up. And then now we're ready to put the plants back in. It looks good.
All right.
Let's start with the
Which one you want to start?
two sedums.
Okay. Ah, good and loose.
It's nice and loose.
The small one.
See if that's big enough for it.
Which way you want to turn? What's a good face?
However, it looks pretty.
Okay. You need to turn it some more? Or?
A little bit more.
Which way? That way, maybe?
There we go.
Hey, look at that.
It looks good.
Look at that. You're gonna make a designer out of me yet? I tell you, it's pretty full.
I was gonna say I think this way you have it
This
in
way I
there
have it.
was gonna be
Look at there.
good.
Look at there. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ah,
That looks good.
that's good. Nice and smooth.
And then we got some oregano.
And we have 2 pieces.
We have 2 pieces. Let's put one in between these 2 in the front.
All right, how you like the face?
That's good.
That's good?
Yes, because I want it to spill over the edge.
Okay.
And we're not burying
There you go.
each mound because they're already at the roots, at the top surface of where they want to be growing. And we don't want to bury the crown of the plant, so we'll definitely water all of this when we get done. And that little piece, I would like to put him over here.
Okay.
Yeah, they look sad now. It was a rough winter and they're trying to come back, but they have plenty of roots and enough green.
Yeah.
They can be fine. They're tough.
They're good. Okay. So right here.
Mhm.
That's good. All right.
It will be low and grow in the corner and spill over the edge. Let's plant a parsley right here.
Okay.
We're growing parsley because this is a butterfly garden and some of the larvae eat the parsley, so that's why we have parsley in here. Let's plant the butterfly
Okay. You got some in here?
bush. Yeah. Put it back where we had it. Seemed to do very well in this corner. And it did come out in pieces, but
So it
we'll
did?
plant them all back.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot of roots to it. And we'll hope that they all grow. Yeah, let's just start
Hold it up.
those.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And then I'm going to add these.
All right, there it goes.
And then these last 2. Come on, guys. There we go. Let's see.
Is it deeper?
This, I think it was like
that way.
this.
I got you. Okay.
Because there's the crown.
Let's see if I can. Yeah. I got you.
And we'll bury the root parts and leave they need some water. We've got a few more clumps of parsley that we can plant here and there. We will randomly plant them.
Okay.
Next I would plant the aster back in its little container.
Oh boy.
Will that fit in there or do we need to take more off
Let's
of it?
see. It's gonna be close.
Do we need to put more dirt inside of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll fit in there, but yeah, a little bit more dirt. Any side, any face?
I think no. I think it's not
Okay.
going to matter
It's not gonna matter. Okay.
because once it comes back out, it'll grow up tall in that corner.
Okay.
Just a little bit of soil around it.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave a little of the pot exposed
bit of it?
so that
Okay.
the root rhizomes won't go
There
over
we
the top.
Yeah.
And if they do, they'll be easier to contain.
Okay. It is.
All right, well that's mostly what we had planted in here. We've got to put the the stones and the sand for the butterflies to rest on. When it rains, the water will fill this sand up, and then the butterflies, they like to get the minerals out of the sand, or they'll suck the moisture out of it. And then stones are just for them to get a place to rest and dry their wings if they have to.
Joellen, it's a lot of hard work. We got through it.
Yeah,
Right?
everybody worked hard, yes.
You worked hard, so thank you so much. Yep.
You're
Can't
welcome.
wait to see what it looks like when it gets filled in.
That's right.
All right. Let's look how deep these plants were planted and see which one is actually correct, okay? The first one, I think we planted it too deep, because as you can see, the leaf is essentially coming out of it, which means, yeah, we planted it too deep, so the plant is essentially choking itself. This plant is too shallow. Look, the roots are actually above the ground, so the roots can't even get in the ground to get the nutrients that they need, and the plant is actually falling over because it's not stable. This last planting, I think this was actually pretty good. Look at it. We got it in the ground at the right depth, I think. So this will be the correct way to plant your plants. Hi, Mr. Tom.
Hi, Chris.
How's it going?
It is going well.
Well, good. We're out in our family plot garden,
Yep.
and you're going to show us how to plant strawberries.
Yes, and UT has a recommended way of doing it
Okay.
for commercial farmers or garden strawberry growers. And I figure if it's good enough for them, which their livelihood depends on, it should also be good for us in our home gardening.
Well, it should work pretty good. UT has some good stuff, huh?
Absolutely.
Good.
That's one of my reference points always.
Good. Glad to
For
hear
the
it.
first place to go. Okay, well, one of the things they recommend is a white covering over the soil. Now, normally they prefer a long dome shape one, raising it off the ground. But in our particular conditions, I don't think that's necessary.
Okay.
But the white cover is, and it has three functions. Number one, it keeps the strawberries off the ground,
Okay.
so you don't get any rotting of strawberries or those little critters eating the bottom of them. Number two, it retains moisture. And finally, number three, that it reflects the heat. As you know, in the Mid-South, rain is very few and far between in the summertime. So that's how we're going to plant them.
Okay.
What this is actually just a shower curtain liner from a dollar store.
Okay.
Obviously, it costs $1.
All right.
Okay, they're 70 inches by 72 inches. So what I did is I cut it long ways in 4 strips, or basically quartering it.
Okay.
And the reason for that is I get more bang for the buck.
Gotcha.
Okay, so what we did is we laid out 2 of those strips together. They're approximately 6 feet long, and I overlapped them about a couple inches. And the purpose of overlapping them is because we don't get that rain in the summertime. I can open it up right there and water it,
All right.
and then cover it back up again.
Smart. Smart.
That way,
Okay.
it's so much easier to water that way.
Okay. Got-
Okay, now we're going to go ahead and plant our strawberries.
All
Now, UT again recommends spacing them approximately 12 inches apart in 2 rows, with each row offset of each other by about 6 inches.
Okay.
So it gives them more room to grow. So let's get to it.
All right.
Okay, what I'm going to do again is just cut some slits into the plastic where I'm going to plant them. And just cut a lip. It slices up real easy.
Uh-huh.
All right, now we're going to go ahead and plant them. Since these are already in pots, it makes it easier. Going to get a center crop and don't have to worry about drying out as quick. Okay, Chris, may I?
Yes.
Okay,
Nice plants, don't you think?
Absolutely,
Yes.
they're very healthy looking.
Now, how deep would you plant those?
Actually, just you actually should tear this. Let me tear this off here at
Okay.
the top, because you do not want any of the peat pot sticking above the ground. What it'll do is just wick out the moisture. This is the crown right here. You don't want it any deeper than that.
Okay.
If worse comes to shove, you may have it a little bit higher. But typically you plant it where the crown is even with the soil, or at least the same depth that it was in the in the pot.
Okay.
There we go. Well, the first one is planted. Now we can go on to the next one.
Okay.
And by the way I'm holding these things down is I'm using these little garden stakes you get for putting on ground cloth. It holds them down fine, and they come up easy. And they're cheap. You can also make your own from the old-fashioned metal coat hangers. On to the next one.
Okay.
Again, approximately 12 inches, right about there. One nice thing about raised beds is it's usually good soil all the way down, so you usually don't have that clay layer as you do in a typical garden. Now your average garden plant, vegetable plants, the root zone is about 6 inches down, which is fine because our topsoil is usually only about 6 inches deep anyway. All right.
All right. And before I hand that to you, let me take this weed seed that's in there out of there.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to introduce that?
No. Again, peeling off the top of the peat pot and popping it in there. And I have no problems using my fingers. Yeah, I guess a happy gardener is one who's got dirt under their nails. And strawberries is not a very critical plant. You give it just a light touch and so forth, that's cool. There's only so much energy available from any plant, be it tomato plant, pepper plant, or strawberry plant, for producing the fruit. Thus, the first strawberries are going to be good size, but then as more and more strawberries appear, they're going to get progressively smaller. So if you want big strawberries, you do need to thin out the blossoms. If you don't care, then just let them produce. Okay, this is the last one of the 10.
All right, it's looking good too.
Yeah. Now, typically they will produce their additional runners, which you can pot up or put them in containers and save them for next spring. Strawberries plants are usually good for about 2 years, and then they gotta be replenished. And you can use runners to replenish them.
Do we need to remove any of the flowers, any of the berries that are present on the
Well,
plants right now?
I previously mentioned that the fewer flowers, the fewer the strawberries, the larger the strawberries are going to be. Now my son, he likes to do them and gives them away, but he gets them about that big and dips them in chocolate and then makes swirls around them and the whole bit. But so the fewer, the bigger they're going to be.
Sure.
The ones you pick off, the small ones, they're edible. They're just not as pretty as the big ones are.
Sure.
And then if you all remember that we have 2 pieces of plastic here, and the reason for that, so I can open up the center one, take those little clips out, water it, and then put it back together again. As far as the dirt, it looks kind of messy on the outside, but the first rain is going to wash it all
Mother
off.
Nature take care of that.
So they'll handle it.
All right.
They're healthy plants, and
They look good.
I expect them to be good, and I'll be out here in a month picking. No.
Yeah. And I don't beat you to them. I love
Yeah, you
strawberries.
probably will be.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Todd, we appreciate that
Okay,
demonstration.
my man.
Thank you much.
I enjoy doing it.
All right.
Rudbeckia hirta is a good daisy-like flower from the aster family, and it has a nice flat surface for butterflies to land on and get nectar from. So it's very good for the butterfly garden. It's hardy in zones 3 through 7. It does get up to 3 feet tall. That's mostly with the blooms, and about a foot, 18 inches wide. So we're going to plant it here in our butterfly garden. It's got a nice root system, a little bit of circling roots that we'll just get out of the way. We're not going to bury the crown of the plant. We're just going to plant up to the surface. And now it'll bloom and the butterflies will enjoy it all summer.
Joellen, you ready?
I'm ready.
It's our Q&A segment.
Yes.
These are great questions.
Yes, they are.
All right, let's start with the first via email. My contorted filbert has a blight. Can I prune it to remove the dead branches? And this is Sharon from Laysville, Kentucky. She says she would really like to save this plant if at all possible. So can we help her out?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
It most likely is Eastern filbert blight.
Okay.
And yes, you're supposed to cut out the dead and keep cutting out the dead parts
keep
of
it,
it.
right.
Because you're trying to stay ahead of the blight.
Okay.
There is no cure for the blight.
No.
There's an extension publication through Purdue that we'll have available on the website that she can look at. If it should, in a few years, if it still doesn't survive, I would try to grow resistant varieties like Red Dragon, or something like that. But yes, keep cutting out the dead parts and try to keep ahead of the blight. It usually spores, black little dots form on it, and that's how the spores multiply. Try not to let it get to that point. Just keep cutting the dead out, and hopefully she'll stay ahead of it.
You're right, because it is a fungus. Anything that's dead, dying, diseased, I would cut it out.
Cut it out.
And you know what else I would do? Sanitize my pruners.
Definitely that, yeah.
In between cuts. I would do that because you don't want to spread
It's
the
true.
fungus.
Yep. Yeah, and just maybe a little fertilizer and water it during droughts, just to try to keep it as healthy as you possibly can.
Right, right. I would do that, Sharon, and I think that will help you out. So thank you for the question. Here's our next viewer email. So I breed Heliopsis helianthoides, right, which is false sunflower, and they have root borers.
Yeah.
These are two different adult insects that develop from pupa I have found. How do I stop the borers? And this is Tony from Illinois, right?
Yes,
Your neck of the
I know,
woods.
my neck of the woods, yeah. First thing I would do is, yes, borers, once you've got them in the soil, they're very difficult to get rid of.
Yeah.
And so I would move, I know they're perennials, and he breeds them, but I think he needs to move them because they're already in the soil, and if he could sterilize the soil after he removes everything, then he could eventually put them back there. But if once they're in the roots and the soil, mostly it's cultural practices that you need to get rid of them, because there's not a whole lot of insecticides that will get rid of that in the ground. So other than removing them to a different location, which if he breeds them, he must have a whole lot of them.
Yeah, obviously
But
so. Yeah.
if it's, that's what he's going to need to do to get to stop the borers in that particular soil, and if he can sterilize that soil.
I would agree with that. So rotation, right? We talk about cultural practices. Rotation is what I would do. Something else, I would practice good sanitation, because the borers will overwinter or can overwinter in crop residue or debris.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So,
if he's in Illinois,
yeah.
is there farm fields and stuff around him?
Yeah.
You got to consider all of
Right.
those factors.
Yeah, I would definitely consider that. And then too, check with your local extension office there, because you may be able to use a systemic insecticide.
Could be.
Yeah, you may be able to do that. So I would check with my local extension agent there just to see if you can do that, because that could help as well. But I'm thinking rotation.
Yeah,
of
definitely needs
course,
to get them
and
out of
then,
that
yeah,
soil.
Yeah, good sanitation, for sure, because you don't want them to overwinter into, in that
Yeah.
residue. I think you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I think you'll be fine, Tony.
It's
Thank
going
you
to be
for
some
that
work
question.
for him.
It's going to be some work. It's going to be some work, but I think he can get ahead of it.
Yep, I
it'll
think
be
he can
good.
do it.
All right, here's our next viewer email. How do I get my 8-year-old avocado to bloom? And this is Donald from Seguin, Texas. He says it is growing in a 25-gallon pot and is full and leafy, but no blooms. Right? You want to have blooms, don't you?
Oh, of
Yeah,
course,
you gotta
because
have
he wants avocados.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think?
Well, I have a question. Is it a grafted avocado,
Oh.
or did he grow it from seed
Oh, okay.
himself?
I like it. Okay. Because there's a difference.
Because there's a difference. Because the grafted one should bloom within 5 years, which is, it's been 8 years.
It's been 8 years.
So it should be blooming.
Okay.
But if it's a seed-grown one that he grew himself, it can take up to 15 years
Right.
for it to bloom. So if he's 8 years, he's over halfway there.
Almost there.
but I don't know which it is.
Okay. Can I ask you about this though?
Yeah.
Is a 25-gallon pot too big?
Well, well, if it's growing healthfully, no.
No?
'Cause,
Okay.
I mean, think of it. You put them in the ground. Avocados grow in the ground.
Yeah.
So the size of the container sounds fine.
Okay. I was just thinking about root restriction maybe can
Well,
help influence bloom.
Well, that
Yeah, I was
could.
just kind of thinking.
But
when
you
were
know what?
talking.
I would think it would bloom more because it'd be stressed.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does he ever take it out of the container to see if it's root bound? You know, maybe it needs to be repotted.
Yeah.
Maybe it needs a bigger pot.
All right.
I don't know.
And we don't know what he's fertilizing with.
Yeah, and if you want blooms, you don't want to put a whole lot of nitrogen on it because that will cause it to be nice and leafy green, but never set flowers.
Right. So I will look for a fertilizer, right,
With
that has a high second
phosphorus,
number.
yes, second number
All
phosphorus.
right, which is phosphorus, right? Right. For blooms. So yeah, Donald, we have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'd be interested to know if it's grafted or if he grew it from seed.
Yeah. And not too much nitrogen fertilizer. Phosphorus is what you need. So appreciate that, Donald. Thank you for
Yeah.
that question. Joellen, it's fun as always.
Yes, it is.
We learn a lot, don't we?
We do.
That's good. Thank you much. Thank you much. Remember, we love to hear from you. Send us an email or letter. The email address is questions@familyplotgarden.com. And the mailing address is Family Plot, 7151 Cherry Farms Road, Cordova, Tennessee, 38016. Or you can go online to familyplotgarden.com. That's all we have time for today. Thanks for watching. You can find all our previous videos on our YouTube channel, Family Plot Garden. We have thousands of them, including the one where Joellen planned and planted the butterfly garden we worked on today. Be sure to join us next week for the Family Plot Gardening in the Mid-South. Be safe.